Darth Malgus was one of the most respected and feared Sith Lords not only of his own time, but in the centuries that would follow. In the Book of the Sith, Lord Sidious personally commends Malgus many times, stating that Malgus was one of the few Sith Lords that truly understood the nature of the dark side of the Force, and beyond this, was one of the few Sith that agreed to all the terms of the darkness, even the idea of suffering in order to grow in power, accepting the feelings of loss and attachment to aid in his progress in the dark side itself. These were all ideas and values that Sidious wished his own apprentice in Vader would grow to accept. Although Vader would never fully grasp this, Sidious did gift Vader the writings from the personal journal of Malgus for inspiration. Together, Sidious and Vader elevated the name Malgus, calling him a revolutionary, and in the case of Sidious, he considered Malgus to have been the perfect Sith in many respects, and especially the perfect Sith warrior, potentially in all of galactic history. So with all that said, why was it that Malgus actually wanted to destroy the Sith Order of his era and create a very different empire? Why was it that Malgus seceded from the Sith Empire and sought to establish a new Sith Empire in his own image? Why did Malgus feel such a strong hatred for his Sith Emperor and possibly the most powerful Dark Lord of all time in the terrifying vision of Lord Vitiate? The answer is quite intriguing and unique, and ultimately why Malgus hated Vitiate and the Sith Empire. Before we begin though, we'd like to thank today's sponsor, Onasaber. If you would like a high quality replica or original lightsaber design, check the link in the description down below for Onasaber. Currently they're running a deal where you can get 30% off every lightsaber on the site as well as free shipping. Claim the weapon of an Inquisitor or a Warrior of the Light. Thanks again to Onasaber for sponsoring the video, and let's open the holocron. Malgus's hatred can be explained in several different layers. For starters, Malgus believed that the Sith vision was quite flawed during this time, and that they did not always elevate the most powerful of their ranks like they claimed that they had. Malgus was of the opinion that the old Sith hierarchy was misled, and he looked down upon the Sith of the era choosing not to train and develop dark side wielders that were aliens in nature, as Malgus pointed out that the individuals that ran the Empire were either Sith purebloods or human. Many of the Sith Order's upper ranks looked down upon Malgus for becoming involved with a Twi'lek, and one Sith Lord even refused to elevate Malgus's rank in the Imperial military due to his attachment and belief that aliens were equal to humans and Sith purebloods. Malgus saw over his years as a Dark Lord many powerful and skilled alien Darksiders, and believed that they too should have a place in the Grand Empire if they had earned it. Malgus also had a major issue with the Sith military as a whole. Oftentimes in warfare, the Sith Council would decide to only send in a fraction of their soldiers, doing so as an attempt to mitigate their losses and use them for other engagements down the line. This fact infuriated Malgus, who was of the opinion that once a Sith Lord became the rank of warrior or marauder, that it was their right to indulge in bloodshed and violence, and that it was not the place of the Dark Council to hold back any Dark Lord from combat if they had proven worthy. Malgus believed that if the Sith Empire had the resources to crush an enemy entirely, that is exactly what they should do. But there were far more issues that he had. The boiling point of Malgus came down to one fateful decision on behalf of Vitiate and the Sith Council, when Malgus was told to relinquish power of the Jedi Temple and the world of Coruscant back to the Republic. Here, Malgus realized that it had all been a ploy for the Sith to reach a treaty of peace with the Jedi and the Republic at large. Malgus had spent months organizing and planning the sacking of Coruscant, and for the Sith Council to strip him of his ultimate final blow to the Jedi merely 2 days after his victory was unspeakably terrible and cruel to him. He despised the political maneuvering of the Council, calling them fools and weak. He had perceived this battle to be the crippling blow of the Galactic War, and proof that despite all the posturing of the Jedi, that the Sith were in fact superior in every way. Malgus had felt such a surge in the dark side as he conquered the sacred walls of the temple, and now the very empire and council that he served, his very way of life and his religion, was ordering him to surrender his greatest victory. Behind the back of Malgus, the Council had grown happy with their place in the galaxy, and were unwilling to push the Republic and the Jedi further. Therefore, the Council struck a deal with the Senate that the fighting would stop, but many of the worlds in the Outer Rim now belonged to Sith territory. In addition to this, it granted the Sith more control and jurisdiction over the Republic and the Senate than ever seen before. The treaty even went as far as to name the Sith Empire as the victors in the war, and their terms were met. This was the final straw for Malgus and the Sith Council. Malgus officially left the Sith in hopes that he would achieve what Lord Bane would some centuries later, creating and ushering in a new era of Sith Lords unafraid of the looming power of the Republic and the Jedi, a Sith Empire that would crush their enemies, never settling for less. Malgus believed that the Sith could have and would have won this war, claiming the entire galaxy belonging to the forces of the Dark, and on the very cusp of victory, the Dark Council settled for less. Malgus was content with sacrificing every Sith Lord the Empire had if it meant the Jedi and the Republic died along with them. He wanted the Sith to eternally have their boot on the throat of the galaxy itself, and the fact that the Dark Council did not see this as their end destiny infuriated Malgus. Following this, Malgus stated that he never felt any love for the Sith Empire, that he was born a weapon, and that the very Empire was the means in which he enacted his destiny to conquer and destroy, to become intoxicated with the dark side of the Force itself, and relish in his own sinister glory. After leaving the Sith, Malgus established a new order of Dark Lords that was quite different from the Empire. Although much smaller than the Empire and the Republic, Malgus quickly gained followers as he was accepting of all who could wield the dark side, and as such, massive amounts of alien species fled to his side. Malgus also utilized droids and mercenaries, both groups who were looked down upon by the Dark Council and not properly utilized by the Sith. Malgus's plan was to test just how strong the Empire and the Republic were by sending small groups of his followers to attack weaker sections of the galaxy, Republic and Sith-held sectors. Malgus led his new empire to a number of early victories, capturing many areas in the unknown regions. But the greatest opportunity for the fledgling empire came when rumors spread that the Sith Emperor had been slain by a Jedi. Unbeknownst to all but a few though, it had actually been the Emperor's voice that had been slain, and not Vitiate. But this was still Malgus's best opportunity to unite the Sith under his leadership. Unfortunately for Malgus though, the Jedi and Sith alike formed a strike team of their greatest fighters, and while using grenades as well as force abilities, were able to break into the throne room of Malgus and engage in a fierce and a long battle. The battle concluded with Malgus falling from a platform, presumably to his death. However, it was later revealed that the Dark Lord had survived this attack and was forced to flee to the unknown space and bide his time, watching from the shadows as the Jedi and Sith again began active conflict. In the end, the great empire of Malgus was short-lived, but his ideas did make an impact on a great deal of Sith of his era, as well as Sith centuries later. In the Book of the Sith, Sidious wrote this about the Great Dark Lord. The excerpts from the journal of Darth Malgus, kept during the Great Galactic War some 36 centuries ago, are a prime example of how a wounded warrior can be sustained by rage. The war was an unbound success for the era's Sith Emperor, and Malgus was one of his greatest soldiers. And there you have it, my friends and acolytes, why Darth Malgus grew to hate the Sith of his era. Again, thank you to our sponsor Onasaber, who are producing high quality replica and original metal lightsabers for you to enjoy. Be sure to check them out using the link in the description down below for 30% off. And again, my friends and acolytes, thank you for visiting our archives, and may the Force be with you.